Introducing Instagram Teen Accounts, a new way to keep your teen safer as they grow, like making sure they always have their seatbelt on.
All right, buckle up. Good job.
New Instagram Teen Accounts, automatic protections for who can contact your teen and the content they can see.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile with a message for everyone paying big wireless way too much. Please, for the love of everything good in this world, stop. With Mint, you can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Of course, if you enjoy overpaying, no judgments, but that's weird. Okay, one judgment. Anyway, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
I will do that.
Among all...
Wait a minute. Is this mic on?
Yes.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Among all the appreciation memos and comments you received from the grandkids after the Taylor Swift concert, I mean, have you been inundated with praise from the grandkids?
Nothing written.
Nothing actually, no card or anything.
No cards. With some verbal
Hey, that was
acknowledgement.
Nice. That was nice, Grandpa.
Yeah.
Okay.
A text or two, maybe.
That was good because I thought maybe you couldn't come out of the house without having some gift on the steps.
No, that went away quickly.
Yes, right.
But they were appreciative.
You know your partner well over here, right? It's been a few years, right, that you've worked together?
A little bit.
He knows no limits on his agitation. He tried hard to agitate the Taylor Swift crowd on Twitter.
Yes.
That probably would have been impossible.
Well, he said, my sources are, or you can clarify, my sources are telling me.
She's having a hard time hitting the high notes.
And then Sharkman replied, Uncle Pat, you don't want any of that smoke.
No, yeah, you were trolling in the wrong area there.
She's a hell of an athlete, so I give somebody. So anyway,
you'd admire. I wasn't there, but you'd admire her work ethic.
Yes,
Nolan Ryan-esque.
10 wardrobe changes
that never took more than a minute.
And then
she had a pit crew down
running
there.
up and down steps and stuff.
The whole stage,
I give her
and
credit.
Put her down there.
And hell, I'd bet when she gets this thing done, she hasn't put more than $750 million in her pocket after paying everybody else. Right?
Wow.
So
she's probably got
probably deserved
what a
it.
payroll she must have.
Oh God, yes.
She got to have a pit crew just to change her outfits.
Yeah.
Well, can I make my observations?
Yeah, right. Yes. Oh, I thought you were going to say I'd like to be in the pit crew, but that's okay. Remember the Kathy Ireland thing in Sports Illustrated?
Yeah.
They're putting powder on her.
Oh, that'd be a tough job.
You and I both volunteered.
We wanted that job.
I'll take that job. How do you get
I'd
that
do it
job?
for free.
How do you apply?
I do it.
What's the screening process like?
Go ahead. Let's go.
Did you watch any of the U.S. Women's Open golf?
Yes, I watched some of it. Yeah.
I have two observations.
Okay.
One, and I'm going to get in trouble for this. Mm-hmm. Women are bad putters.
Yes, I was going to say the same thing.
I don't get it.
They
can hit the hell out of the ball.
They rarely hit it past the hole.
Yes.
So, and the only way to make a putt is to get it there. You know, and
Okay.
they are not. I said obviously distance and stuff. All those are, but as far as shot making, the putting has always been the weakness.
Yes.
And if you can putt like Annika could putt, you can dominate.
Okay, that was one observation.
Yes.
Second observation, it was the best filmed event at Pebble Beach I've ever seen. The way the views you got of the golfers in the course was completely, unless I'm dreaming, was completely different than what you watched during the Pebble Beach Pro-Am or when a major is held there. Mm. It was extraordinary.
I have a theory on that because you brought it up earlier.
I don't think it was drones.
Oh, you don't think so?
No.
Oh, okay. Because that's what
some of it was drones.
Yeah, some drones, yeah.
Okay.
But Pat, it was you. I found myself thinking, wait a minute, why haven't I seen this before?
Mm-hmm.
It was amazing.
Now, is the analyst Morgan Pressel?
There was a Morgan involved.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was watching. I didn't see much yesterday because I had kids' softball obligations. But the last 3 holes, as this Corpus was, how do we pronounce that kid's name?
Corpus, yeah.
She's a Hawaiian, by the way. Jim told me that they'll have a parade for her in Hawaii because when a Hawaii athlete does anything.
She's an American.
But, yes, dang right she is.
Yeah.
But I got sick of Morgan telling me how her pace of walking showed her calmness. I don't think that had anything to do with it.
No.
She walked at a calm pace, okay? But
I saw enough of it to come up with the putting and the filming. The filming was unbelievable. It's worth watching again just for the scenery.
Now, you played there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I did, too. What a disgrace.
It was a disgrace when I played, too.
But what people don't realize is we see the ocean holes and how magnificent it is. Back on the back part of the course there over by the fence.
Deer Run.
It is. There's about 6 holes that are pretty... they're tough, but they're out of no picture. They're driving by on the road honking their horn at people when they're playing it. It is amazing that only 300 yards away you can have this unbelievable view, but the back part of it is not magnificent. But it is. Augusta is the most famous golf course in America. This is too, I don't think. Don't you think? All the championships they've had and everything else. Yeah. It's no. I have a question about it.
All right.
They had a great upstairs view of 18, several of them. Mm-hmm. How long are they going to have 18? It looks to me
they got her solidified.
Looks to me like the ocean is coming.
They built a new seawall.
They need one, man, because that thing has got to be. Well, I started watching the Crosby Clambake in about 1958, and I don't even know if they showed us that part of the golf course. They did because they were only showing 4 or 5 holes, but that thing's got to be in 20 yards.
Well, climate change will wipe that out in about 10 years, Pat?
What? I don't think. It's just, but it is.
They got waves.
It is coming.
It's getting there.
It is getting more.
What do you want? It's a billion years old.
I know it is. I'm not complaining. I'm saying just how long are you going to have you're going to have to take that tree out to build more fairways.
The shots of 18 for this tournament, unless I'm missing something, were completely different than any film you've seen of 18.
Well, they could show you they could show you the ball in flight a lot better than they ever did.
Oh, man. Now I got another story for you.
All right.
The New York Times has killed its sports department.
Yeah.
The sports
The
desk.
home of Red Smith, Dave Anderson, Robert Lipsyte, on and on and on. Done.
The sports desk is closed. They
Oh,
bought
my
the
God.
They bought the Athletic for an ungodly price, and it's turned into a disaster for them. $600 million they paid for it.
What?
And it's not working out. The Athletic was losing money. So apparently they're going to take the Athletic copy. And
They're sending readers to the Athletic.
and are they going to have a printed sports section?
The New York Times
I
announced.
can't figure out if they're going to have a printed sports section or if the Athletic copy is some of the Athletic copy going to be printed in a Times sports section.
The way I'm reading it, no. The Times plans to shutter its sports desk, relying instead on the Athletic. The Times will offer jobs elsewhere in the newsroom to current sports reporters.
So if you're a 60-year-old Mets writer, they're going to say,
See
go
you
over
later.
and help write obits.
Yep.
You know. And by the way, the New York Times, they used to have a great standard for obits. I don't know if they still do.
And now we learn, as you just said, the Athletic is losing money and has announced layoffs.
Not many, though. They only laid off 20, I think,
And
which
will
was
be
4%.
and be from.
But here's another shocker. I got another newspaper shocker.
This is
for you.
unbelievable.
I got another newspaper, but not as big a shock as this, but a shocker. L.A. Times sports section for the print edition will have a 3 p.m. deadline.
Well, you can't.
If the Dodgers
That doesn't work.
If the Dodgers are playing the Giants for the right to go to the World Series, it'll be in the paper 2 days from now. 3 p.m. deadline.
Well, that doesn't work.
No kidding. What we're saying is print doesn't matter, but I got news for the whole newspaper industry. The generation of, what do we call this? Z? What is Z?
No, I think we're past Z.
Yeah, I know we're past Z, but
Well,
what
Z
was
is the
Z?
last letter.
Here, what generation are we in?
Where's X or Z? Whatever generation. The under 35 crowd,
Yeah.
they want everything on the internet free.
Right.
They don't want to pay $12 a month for the Star Tribune or the New York Times or anything else. So everybody's betting their money on the
You were right, Gen Z.
Gen Z. They're betting their money on that people will subscribe, to whatever they're charging a month for the online product, StarTribune.com, Pioneer. What are you? TwinCities.com. But I think every time somebody dies, you lose a newspaper subscriber. Print edition guys. I mean, they're not that many anymore. But you're also, as that generation gets older, they want their stuff. They want something free. So I don't know. I don't think there's any future.
Do you realize you and I suppose you could make the argument that the 50s might have been the height of print sports writing. Anything before that, really.
Yeah, but
we saw the height.
Oh,
we
yes,
were part of the height.
We worked in the height.
We worked in the height.
I mean, at our place, in Minneapolis, the 90s were still.
Yep.
And we covered everything. We sent 3 guys to the Super Bowl. We sent 1 guy to the National League playoffs, 2 to the American League playoffs, NFC, AFC title games. We had 4 people in the Olympics once, and so it was still going then. But
it ain't going now.
No, it's all over.
And if the L.A. Times, why did they even have a sports department if it's 3 p.m.?
I don't know.
That makes
what
no
they're gonna
sense.
have. They're gonna think they're gonna write I heard they're gonna have some story that takes up. They're gonna do readers, magazine type reader stuff, but that's not gonna work. So
I got another note.
Here's what you got to do. You got to have notebooks on every team in town that boom, boom, boom.
Who will then follow suit of the St. Paul Pioneer Press and no longer have a building?
Well, the Chicago Tribune no longer has its building.
Is that right?
It's been gone a long time.
That beautiful building on Michigan Avenue.
The trouble with this is you're going to have editors now saying, boy, if the New York Times can do it, we can do it.
Yeah.
Patty Boy's contract, old falling down Patty's contract's up December 31st. And I got a hunch that...
you got a contract?
I got a contract.
I don't even have that.
They just said...
Much less a building.
Keep saying... I got a contract. The last one was 2 years.
Aren't you a vendor?
I'm a contractor.
Well, I'm a vendor.
What's that mean?
I'm just a schmuck freelancer.
Well, I can get in the building, and I know where it is.
I would, too, if we had one.
Although the other day...
I'd like to get in
the other
building.
day, I left my badge in the building.
You got badges, huh? We don't even have a badge.
Well, we now have this security.
We don't have security.
So you got to put your badge underneath the elevator deal, and then
We don't have an elevator.
Then you go up to only your floor, in the cap towers.
Yeah.
But I made the bad mistake. I'm on 12.
12, huh?
But I made the mistake of getting an elevator that was going up.
Yeah.
And I got on 13.
Yeah.
And my badge didn't work because this is a security thing.
Oh, no.
So I was stuck
Yeah.
in
the elevator.
I was stuck in the alcove where the 4 elevators were, but I couldn't get out of it. And I finally started pounding on a window, and some woman came over, and then I was able to walk down the steps. But she looked at me like, I said, I showed her my badge.
So
I
this
said, I'm
building,
not a terrorist.
this building you're talking about, the Star Tribune's got 1 floor.
3.
3.
But
Whoa, 3.
when Glenn Taylor bought,
Wow, you guys are big.
When we sold the building,
Yeah.
the old building, to make room for the Ziggy, they moved over to the Cap Towers and took over. Things were still optimistic.
Who's
and they
got
took
the
over.
Cap Towers?
Capella Towers. The Capella Towers is on what, 3rd and
I'm not sure.
3rd and 7th.
Isn't there
Street.
a hotel in St. Paul called the Cap Towers?
Yeah, this is not the.
Oh, I was
this
going to
is
say.
Have you been there? Last time you were downtown Minneapolis, the thing that's got the circle deal on the top, that's the building we're in. But they got, on one end of the building, they got 11, 12, and 13. Way more real estate than they need now.
Boy, 3
especially when people don't come into the office anymore, at least as far as the newsroom's concerned.
3
People
floors.
have gotten very comfortable working at home.
Yeah.
So
They better because there's no building.
Right. They got badges and stuff, Joe.
And they got
but
an elevator.
I hear that the lease at the Capella that Capella Towers is 2 more years, and
Then what?
I got a hunch.
Then you know what's going to happen? One day you'll go downtown and say,
No,
they ain't here.
no.
And you'll say, where are they? And the guy will
I
say,
think
I don't know.
before that happened, they're going to say you ain't here.
Oh, well, they got nothing invested in you. You can work till you're 90.
I know. I don't pay. I get half of what I was making, and I don't cost them anything in benefits.
So
I'm
you get
free.
a salary from them?
Yes.
Oh, see, I don't.
Okay.
I'm a vendor.
You're a vendor. Yes, but I'm writing 3 columns a week.
Well, I don't do that.
No, you write 2 a month.
No, 4.
4, okay. All right.
But I'm taking July and August off.
Oh, that's right. But you're not gonna get your vendor check.
Oh, you don't get anything.
No.
No.
And they don't probably argue with you when you do it.
Who cares?
No, he still works here?
That crook who owns this, that hedge fund manager in Palm Beach,
Yeah.
he doesn't care.
No.
I shouldn't say crook, should I?
No. He's,
The alleged creep.
There you go.
that's
No, he's just one of the people in America that has destroyed newspapers.
Yes. Here's our biggest problem, I think. Oh, we got several, but I think if we're going to push the online product, which we want to, why don't we tell them in the print edition what they can find? That, you might not be happy with with the full coverage here, but there's more.
Head on over to StarTribune.com.
Go over to StarTribune.com. So, anyway, I don't know. That's not our biggest problem. Our biggest problem is
We can't hit.
we don't have TikTok. Yeah, the other problem is we can't hit a bull in the ass with a big bass fiddle. I don't know where that ever came from,
But I
we
love
can't
that
hit-
term.
Yeah.
Boy, they just look miserable. Mm-hmm. Just miserable.
We had the Come to Carlos meeting in Atlanta after the game.
What's he hitting, about 112?
He's 225, but not with runners in scoring position. Then it's about 6. But so we had that, and then we're gonna.
Here we go.
And then what the
Blackboard.
the whiteboard
said the season starts now.
Season starts now,
Yeah.
and they scored 8 runs
Yeah.
against these Orioles.
Then they got to do that every game.
Yes, they do. Because since then, scored 6 runs in 5 games against the Orioles. They they lost the next 5, and then they got to play Kansas City 3 games, but that don't count. They went 9-1 against Kansas City, which means against the world, they're 36-45.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
But here's the deal, Joe. They have managed to be 1 game under 500 with the best starting pitching they've had in about 30 years. Mm-hmm. Since the last time they won a World Series, probably. It's almost impossible to be where they are, considering how good their starting pitching is.
Just imagine they've even had 2 complete games.
Yes.
2 complete games.
Breezed.
Yeah.
Breezed. Pablo breezed.
Yeah.
Now,
I thought of your line the other day. Well, not your line, but when the MLB Twitter account put out a picture of Pablo Lopez, and Pablo Lopez pitches complete game shutout, and I was thinking of the line, did they win?
yeah,
What was that? Was it a Dodger? Was that a Dodger?
Sandy Koufax.
Sandy Koufax, yeah.
Drysdale was back in L.A. because they flew him home because he would be pitching when they returned, and somebody told him Koufax pitched a perfect game, and Drysdale said, did he win? Because that was that giant Dodgers team that never scored any runs, 2-1. Did he win? Yes.
Well, what's going to happen second half? Just sink into oblivion?
I think something will be. They're going to have to do something before they go back on the field Friday, don't they?
They have to.
They got to get rid of Gallo and Kepler, and they got to do something. Or Rocco maybe takes the fall. Somebody's got to take the fall.
Every time Kepler's offered as a sacrifice, he has a burst of goodness.
Yeah, about 3 days. He had 3 games, but he's, Joe.
And makes amazing catches.
He is a good outfielder. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
It's baseball, though. We take these small little snippets and think that somehow this person's going to be different than the person they've been for the last 4 years. It happens once in a while. A guy pops up and has a great year. Usually it was because of steroids, but Joey Gallo is not going to be the new Joey Gallo. He's going to strike out half the time.
Yep.
Did I see that? I was listening to one of the games on the radio, and Kepler is tied for 5th all time in Twins home runs. Is that possible? I thought I heard Provis say that on the broadcast.
Is it 5th? I know he just passed somebody or tied somebody or something.
I'm going to pull it up here because
maybe.
I couldn't believe when he said
Allison,
that.
Morneau.
Here's the
Puck.
stat, Joe.
Puck.
They've
Herbeck.
played 91 games.
Yep.
41 of them, they've scored 2 runs or less.
Isn't that something?
You can't function.
No.
You can't function scoring 2 runs or less. The pitching coach, a hitting coach, should go in and tender his resignation. They shouldn't have to fire him, right? They should just say, I'm not doing it. Try somebody else.
That makes the presumption the hitting coach can accomplish anything.
He's not the problem. He's not the problem. I'm not saying he's the full problem, but somebody's got to take the fall, don't they?
Right.
Yeah. So.
Now, I have another bit of information for you.
Oh. One other thing, by the way, the Buck's hitting 208.
Oh, yeah.
He had about 4 games there. He hit the ball hard. Now he's 208.
Lance Nuance is back in the fold.
You told me that. I got that hint that Lance will be there if we ever have a reunion, right?
Well, he has many happy memories of Monday Night Sports Talk, he writes, and he has memories of Saturday Sports Talk. He would like to share them. But he's telling us what he wants to do.
Okay, as always.
And then he says, mostly I just want to talk about Monday Night Sports Talk.
Okay.
So Lance is already telling us how this should be handled when we talk to him.
Okay.
So Lance, you gotta email us your phone number, and we'll call you on a Monday Night Sports Talk maybe next week.
Sure.
Because you can't call us.
Right,
We don't have you can, but we don't know what the other number
And then
is.
that would allow us to do a little longer show, like maybe 25 minutes.
No, I think it'd be great to touch base with
it
Lance.
would.
Remember, it was Madam New.
Madam New.
And then New Baby New.
New Baby New.
Well, New Baby New, God knows how old she is now. She's probably got a lot of kids.
She's got grandkids now.
And I think Lance left the state for a while. Mm-hmm. And now he's back.
Not for legal reasons, just to relocate.
And I think it'd be a thrill to talk to Lance Nuance. Many listeners will remember Lance Nuance.
Well, as we head for our 40th anniversary, little
40th.
time missed here. But
Yeah.
83 basically.
Yeah.
Because we got fired, in 81. So it's hard to count that first 13 months or whatever it was. But 40 years, maybe a character or two. Lance has said a thing, ask them if they want to come on and talk for 10 minutes. And then Reavers can stay and you and I can leave.
You'll pull a dark star on me.
Yeah, right.
Come on in and hang out.
Hey, Eric, can you stay an hour? And Eric says yes. And he says, I'll see you.
Good. I'm going to head to the ball game.
Thought he was going to be the guest. He was going to be no. You're the host.
I misspoke. He is 11th all time, Max Kepler.
Yeah.
That makes
I've
more
seen
sense.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
Bob Allison. I never.
let me see how
started
good you guys are. You already named Killebrew.
Killebrew, Allison,
Yep.
Oliva.
Yep.
Do I have to do them in order?
No, that's fine. You're good.
Pocket.
Morneau.
Yep.
Morneau.
Herbeck,
From Herbeck.
Morneau,
Yep.
Batty.
Nope.
No, bad. Bruno?
Nope.
Bruno?
That's who Kepler just tied was Tom Bernansky.
Okay.
You're missing.
Not Rodney.
Well, no.
Nope.
Hell no. Rodney's career.
Bossack.
Nope.
No. No, we got to go. Don Mincher?
You're missing a big one.
Don Mincher.
Nope. He just recently retired.
Missing a big
Center fielder, Torrey Hunter.
Torrey Hunter.
God,
yeah.
yes.
Torrey Hunter.
Gary Gaetti with
Gaetti.
201. Brian Dozier, 167. I'm not familiar
about
with this name.
Koski?
He's not on there. I'm unfamiliar with this name. Roy Sievers?
Oh, yeah, but you got the Senators on there.
Oh, so he's a senator.
senator.
Okay, I'm sorry.
There's
All right.
got to be some other
I'm
Senators.
not doing Senators.
Well, Harmon was a senator.
Bad enough to do Twins.
See, Roy Sievers is the only
In the-
unfamiliar name.
In this particular list, yep. That I can
Read
see.
them off to me.
So it goes Killebrew, Herbeck, Allison, Morneau, Oliva. Justin only hit one more home run than Tony. Torrey Hunter, Kirby Puckett, Gary Gaetti, Roy Sievers, and Brian Dozier.
That tells you how rotten the Senators were, because there's only one senator in the top 10, and they were in Washington for 59 years.
Wow.
Roy Sievers. Roy Sievers was he was involved in a famous trade. I think the Mighty Whiteys brought him in for something. So anyway, Jim Lemon not on there. How far down is Jim Lemon?
And Lenny Green's not on.
This is
No,
only
he
giving
was a
me. This is
slot
only giving
hitter.
me the top 10.
Top 10.
Yep.
Okay. Jim Lemon was, I think, the American League.
Rob Wilfong. No, I guess not.
Not Rob Wilfong.
Mike
One of-
Cubbage.
One of my roles as the assistant first base coach for the Faribault Lakers is to educate the youth on baseball past. I had two kids about 2 weeks ago that had no idea who Gary Gaetti was. And I said, fellas, sit down.
Yeah.
That's, how
sit-
old are they?
19 and 20.
Smalley had to hit a few, didn't he?
Nah, not anywhere near that list. Though.
Yeah.
He wasn't a homer.
But boy,
he might lead in sacrifice bunts.
Is he the most underrated Twins player, Gary Gaetti? He was fantastic.
Yeah, he was a hell of a third baseman. They let him go. That was not a...
Because he was the MVP of the ALCS in '87, wasn't he?
They could have had about five guys.
That's true.
They played great. That's as good as... Those 5 games they played against that Detroit team are as good as they have ever played the Minnesota Twins. So, played a hell of a lot better than this. Who are you going to get? What are you going to do as a Twins observer? Who takes the fall?
Well, he's
For
going to
this
fine
mess.
everybody $250,000 for adjusting their batting gloves.
I don't know what to do about Kepler because, like I said, every time he gets ripped, he has a 4-day burst of excellence. And then he falls back into being ripped.
So he should come in and hang out with us every day.
Yeah.
And he'd be an all-star.
And Gallo, I don't think much of.
No, well,
he's
hitting 180 and striking out half the time, but we like him because he's a real professional and a good guy.
and once in a
apparently-
while he hits a home run.
Yes, he'll run. Yeah, he'll accidentally hit a home run. That's the stiffest swing I've ever seen
Oh,
in my
my
life.
God. Yeah.
Oh, there, the ball. And
Wow, it hit the barrel. There it goes.
And I'd get rid of Buxton in a heartbeat if I could replace him with a Buxton-like character who could play every day and play in the field.
I mentioned this to
Because he's
Judd.
the best center fielder in baseball.
But Taylor's not
and
bad
you can't
either.
use him.
Taylor's good, but I mentioned this to Judd, though, today. Calvin was so desperate in 1970. What was Quillisi's last year's manager? 75, right?
Yeah.
In 1975, they had a promotion in September. Rod Carew moves to first day. They had
No,
come
they
out-
did
Yes,
not.
they did. Like on some Sunday.
What do you give away?
Rod Carew moves to first day. So he was done with second. They were moving him. Frank had been complaining for 2 years. He wanted Rod to play first. So I think their big promotion this September should say Buxton plays center field day.
Oh, that's not
People
bad.
might exactly show it. Buxton plays center field day because by September they're going to need somebody to draw people.
I can't believe that was an actual Twins
Hell,
promotion.
Yeah,
That was marketing.
that was marketing. Who thought of that?
I got a better one, Pat.
I was telling Judd again. The farm. If you look at the minor league department now, and the number of coaches at various locations, and then the coaches that are just instructors in Fort Myers, and then the trainers, and then strength coach, and everything, they got to have 150 on-field employees, and then ungodly numbers of people over there in the department. I said that the Twins minor league and scouting department used to be George Brophy, Jim Rance, Ruthie the secretary, and her dog.
Yep.
That was it. And when Jim Rance was dictating something to Ruthie, Lucky, her dog, would sit in the other chair and listen. Jim Rance. And the number of millions that this operation has cost them since they came in here is off the field. Not players. The number of millions they've spent with every newfangled piece of equipment and these hundreds and hundreds of employees, they got to be spending $10 or $12 million more a year on the front office alone.
When you see Buxton running around the bases, I can't help but think he's thinking, I wonder if I'm going to get hurt.
Well, I don't know. He's run some. He's run his ass off.
I know, and I keep thinking he's wondering, I wonder if I'm going to get hurt when I slide.
I think he'd play center field if they let him.
Well, then I'd let him.
Yeah. What do you got?
What's the point here?
Yeah, you got 5 more years to pay, but a DH hitting 208 isn't the answer.
No.
You know what
I'm putting
do?
him in center field.
If I'm firing Rocco, though, we agreed on this earlier today. My manager, Nelson Cruz.
Oh, that's not bad.
Get him in.
That's
He'd
not
probably
bad.
be
He
available.
already ran that team for the Dominican. He ran the team for the World Baseball. He just got let go.
Which he hasn't been having a terrible season.
No,
the Padres are a
but-
huge disappointment.
Yeah,
but
and they needed another position player.
Okay.
He was a backup.
but
DH.
would he put himself in the lineup?
He was a backup DH. No, you couldn't. I mean, you'd have to be retired. But I think he's, don't mess around. Go straight. You know what Calvin said when he fired Rigney, because after Billy'd been so popular, Calvin said he thinks the fans want another Italian. was his logic that time, and Frank was fine. But let's see if Nelson.
I like that idea.
See if Nelson can shake up the clubhouse. I don't know. I don't.
He's
think
not. It doesn't seem like a shake. It doesn't seem like a shake-up guy.
Oh God, he's a strong guy. Strong personality though, but not loud. Or he's
not
gonna
loud.
He's not gonna. He can walk over to you and look at you.
Oh, okay. I
He'll take
like
care of
that.
it, Yeah.
And you know what else that would bring back? The nap room.
Yeah, the only manager in the bigs who has to take a nap.
They have a nap room.
I know.
And when he was here with the Padres, I believe they let him use the nap.
Well, that's nice of us.
Yes. Likes the nap.
I remember Joe's tirade about the nap room.
A nap.
Nap room. Well, then, you know what else he did?
I don't want anybody that has to have a nap.
You know what else he did? He, at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, these caterers would come in with Spanish food for all the Spanish guys. And you could, if you were not a Spanish guy, you could
Try it out.
for every night game, and it would be early enough in the day so you didn't have to go out there and go,
Right.
But they would have healthy Spanish food every day for the guys to fit their taste buds. He's a
Did
hell of a
he
guy.
pay for that?
Yeah, out of his pocket. Yeah, he paid for it. So
Well, you got that going for you.
yeah. Well, I think he's take a shot. What the hell? He loves baseball.
Yeah, but
man.
how much would the front office leave him alone?
I think they'd be afraid to come in and talk to him.
They're not afraid to talk to Rocco.
Well, no, they aren't. But I don't think it's. I don't think it's like they're giving him. They're giving him strong recommendation. I think the big problem is they're one of our problems is we keep saying Falvey and Levine. Levine's got nothing to do with it. This is a Falvey operation. And,
What do you mean he's got nothing to do with it?
well, he's a
He's a GM.
yeah, but he doesn't. It's not Falvine. It's not like they're joined at the hip. It's a Falvey. Falvey is as much the boss as Terry Ryan was. So
Okay.
just there's 400 more helpers than there used to be. I don't know. This could have been the game's fun to watch again. It takes 2 hours and 25 minutes, but
I like the fact that Baltimore's in contention.
yes,
I
they've
like
been
Baltimore
terrible.
as a baseball town.
Cincinnati, too. That's a great
Cincinnati.
baseball town.
Yeah.
How about that kid? Did you see
They got
this over the weekend?
Dela Cruz guy. Did you see him yesterday?
No.
Stole second, third, and home
Rodney used to
in
steal
the
home.
same. But on
Joe.
one
In one circle around the
and he
bases.
stole home. The pitcher turned his back
So
to him, and he went.
he steals third
Wow.
in Milwaukee. Catcher didn't even throw down to third. He did throw down to second, but didn't even bother to throw to third because they had the third baseman was off the bag. As he's tossing the ball back to the pitcher, Cruz is looking right at him. De La Cruz is looking right at him, and then just bolts for the plate.
He's safe by 20 feet.
It was fantastic. That kid is so much fun to watch.
Yeah, it is. And
Is his?
Were they in Milwaukee?
Yes.
yeah.
Let me look up the crowd.
Were they? Does he have a brother that plays for the Marlins, Patrick? Because there's another De La
know,
Cruz
but
that's
there's-
good.
I think it's a popular name on the
Is that like
island.
Smith? Okay,
I
gotcha.
don't know how it is, but yeah, they're and this steer that the Twins gave him was playing great too since. I don't know. The hell with it. It was a fun season for about 2 weeks.
See you in Fort Myers already?
Oh yeah, see you in Fort Myers. Except I don't go anymore. But,
32,848 in Milwaukee. Milwaukee won, Cincinnati nothing.
that was yesterday.
Oh no, this took place Saturday.
Saturday
Joe's
night.
right. Joe's right.
Saturday night.
It was the Saturday game.
This is the Monday paper.
You can still get a
No,
box
I
score.
meant the
the event when he
basis
stole-
was Saturday,
when he stole all
not
of it.
yesterday.
That would have
misspoke.
been in the Sunday paper.
Yes.
Correct.
Except if
Hopefully.
you have a 3 p.m. deadline.
Yeah, you have a 3 p.m. deadline. Then it'll be in the Tuesday paper.
We were talking about this a couple of weeks ago, and it's maintained. The attendance in baseball has been fantastic.
Yes, it
I
has.
think these 2 hour and 20-minute games are winning
helping
fans.
a lot. Yeah, they're helping a lot. The Twins have been okay. They haven't. They got booed yesterday. I was proud to hear that.
Tampa Bay sold out,
Yeah, they're only letting
hosting
25,000.
Atlanta.
See that they've lost 7 in a row, Joe.
Ooh.
The O's are only 2 behind them. The O's have the second best record in the American League.
Well, they won 10-4 yesterday. Tampa Bay beat Atlanta 10-4 yesterday.
I thought they lost yesterday. Okay, all right.
And they have the 2-game lead over the O's.
O's. Yeah, I agree with you. I always like Baltimore.
I did too. I like going there.
Memorial Stadium, though, you kind of wanted to, you didn't stop on the way back downtown to, you kind of kept your head down when you drove home, but that was.
To this day, it's a mystery to me that on the bus going back downtown one night, misty, foggy.
You and I were on that trip.
Well, and Harmon got off the
got
bus.
off and started walking
walking somewhere.
walking back to the hotel.
And I thought, he'll never be seen again.
Well, he had a briefcase with him. He might have used it as a bat. He might have been okay.
Saturday's attendance in Milwaukee was 39,120.
Well, then fun.
Threatening Milwaukee if they don't improve the stadium, they're going to.
Are they doing that already?
What's wrong with the stadium?
Well, it's 23 years old already.
They want improvements. They don't. They haven't told us exactly what they want. I don't know what it is, but they're having a vote onto whether they're going to apply a sales tax to.
They
the
showed
stadium.
yesterday, the boys and I were watching Quick Pitch, and they were showing some highlights. And yesterday was, and I can't believe this, the 21-year anniversary of Torrey Robin, Barry Bonds in the All-Star game in Milwaukee.
Yeah, that was
I can't
great.
believe that was 21 years ago.
That was the tie game.
Oh, that's
That was
right.
the tie game.
that's
I was
right.
there, covered that. Bud's lowest moment.
It really was.
Bud, they did. Bob Brunley was the manager of
The Diamondbacks, yep.
And he'd ran out of pitching. And who was managing?
That would have been Torrey,
right?
Joe Torrey.
And Torrey said, "Yeah, we don't have it." But Torrey basically said, "Yeah, we'll settle for the tie." He had about 2 pitchers left, But Brentley ran out of pitchers and said, I don't have any pitchers. They should have said, well, you better play. You better send a catcher out there to pitch or something.
Or couldn't you just let somebody else come back in the game? It's an all-star
they could have
game.
done anything, But they, anyway, the Milwaukee crowd did not take that well. There were some.
Oof.
I remember that. They did not take it well.
No, they were very upset.
All righty.
Well, I hate to dishearten you. This early in the week. We were off for a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what takes place 2 weeks from today, right?
I don't.
We report to training camp.
Fut.
Oh, yeah.
Bah.
Yeah.
2 weeks
Well,
from
that's another
today.
thing about the Twins.
This is when we're going to pay attention.
They're blowing over. They're blowing that 5 weeks when football isn't God. So. Anyway.
All-Star break starts today.
Okay.
Home run derbies
I got to
tonight.
tell you one last story.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
So Phil Miller's our baseball writer, and his dad died, and I was talking to Phil out in Colorado. And Phil said he was at the doubleheader in 77. The Twins were in Chicago that weekend. Were you there when they were in Comiskey? Went there for 4 games.
Probably.
The place was jumping. Nancy was playing,
Yeah.
and, na 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 na. Phil was there, and so I ended up writing a little blog about Phil's dad because Phil's dad was an accountant, and when Phil was 12, he said, "Never be an accountant." And then he told him, when they go to Wrigley, park with the nuns, so the house of St. Raphael or whatever. And then if you want to go to a doubleheader, you can go to a day game at Wrigley and a night game in Milwaukee. And it's this kind of stuff. A big baseball guy. But Phil said he took him and his best friend to that doubleheader on when there were 35,000 people there, and the White Sox completed a sweep of the Twins. He sent what I wrote to his friend. His friend still had the ticket.
Oh, you're
His friend
kidding.
had the ticket preserved behind glass.
Oh, that's
from that
cool.
day. So pretty amazing to say the least. Yeah, here.
Did the ticket have a price on it?
$4.
Wow.
$4. Probably cost.
That's probably
you
a good seat, too.
Probably cost you $3 for a beer then, huh? Anyway.
Not
Yeah,
that
that
two.
was great. Anyway, here it is. There's the ticket.
Oh, look at that.
Doesn't even have a crink in it.
Right.
And doesn't even have
And
a
now
crink
what you
in
can do to save that same memory in today's game, you can have a digital ticket that you can
it.
take
Yes,
a picture
right.
of.
Yeah, you can take
There are no more tickets.
Oh, everything's digital.
I bought 3 that at the.
Oh, you did?
Down there, and you can get in with them, but you can only get them at the ballpark, and they don't want to give them to you.
Wow.
I want a ticket.
I do too.
I'm not using my phone.
No.
How am I supposed to get into the Twins game when the town council?
We will have that taken care of.
Ross sent me some email.
When are you going? When are you going?
July 21st.
Yep.
To
Friday.
see the Whiteys.
Friday the 21st.
And this is how many people?
A Garage Logic Target Field takeover,
About
Patrick.
200 of us.
About 200. Okay.
Something like that.
I'll have to.
You have to make an appearance.
I will. I'll
Yeah.
make an appearance.
We don't know where our seats are.
I'll make an appearance and have to tell those people, don't get nervous if I happen to wander in and don't know that you're on and drop an F-bomb or two.
Yeah.
That's.
And
that's
don't be
like-
nervous tonight, gang, if the mayor leaves early.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, by the way, one other thing. I'm watching the 12-year-old boy play baseball on Saturday morning. And my granddaughter's sitting next to me. And we're leading the game now. We got like a 5-run lead. The last inning, there's 2 outs, and the third baseman's holding the guy on base.
Ooh.
And I said, get that kid off the hell off third base and put him in the hole.
Get in your
Because I
position.
said, somebody's going to hit a ground ball right where he is, and they're going to score 2 runs. Sure as hell it happened right then.
Because you are a baseball observer.
I said, what a bunch of dummies. I got to go talk to them. She says, you are not going to make it as a coach of youth sports.
No, I wouldn't either.
She said, you're supposed to be supportive of us no matter what happens. I said, even when you're being stupid?
Right.
She said, yes.
I am right in the heart of an 11-year-old and a 9-year-old, and playoff baseball starts this week.
Uh-oh.
We had practice yesterday, and I said, Bennett, you got to face that way.
Oh, really?
He was playing second base, and he was looking at center field.
Yeah, this team is actually now they got guys that can pick the ball up.
Yeah,
and
there's
throw it
kids that
first.
can play at this age.
Their preoccupation with people on base drives me crazy.
it is.
Get it out.
Right.
Get the out.
How about the time between half innings? Is that
Oh,
improving?
still no.
It
It's
drives
4
me
or 5
crazy.
minutes. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I was going on.
Get
on
going.
That. I was going on that. We need speed up.
Let's
rules.
go here.
Come on.
Where's the pitch clock?
And then I get looked at funny if I say that.
Oh yes, you get looked at. I was getting looked at funny.
Oh.
And I think some people now on the team know that I work for the newspaper now because I've gone to 10 games in the last couple of years. And,
So-
you're not supposed to say anything.
I've been working with you two long enough that you've rubbed off on me. And I would have had this same tirade had I not worked with you guys for 15 years. But the other day, one of the parents came up to the game before the game had started, and she's kind of doing something by the dugout. And I just said, "Oh, hey, how are you?" And she goes, "Oh, I'm just setting up." I said, "Set up for what?" "A speaker for walk-up songs." And I said,
really?
We're doing what now?"
Yeah, we got walk-ups.
I saw that at a kid's softball game. The one team from Centennial or something had. I said, "That's it. I'm done."
Joe,
Walk up.
we had to wait 3 days to find out how a twin minor league team came out in the 1970s. They'd appear in the notes on Friday. Tuesday, Bill hit 2 home runs or something. Now they're doing pitch by pitch on 12-year-old baseball.
It's unbelievable.
Some website. I said,
It's game changer. Although I do like
Game
that
changer.
because
Oh,
sometimes
I can watch a kid in Illinois play on Game Changer.
it's that, but it's also if I'm at one kid's game coaching, I can keep an eye on the other one just to see how they're doing. That one I don't disagree with. I kind of like that.
It's that voice from Siri.
Yes.
How does she get to all those games?
She's busy.
know. She
She's a
does.
busy gal.
How does that work?
I don't know, but it's
Man, is she
I don't
busy.
know. It creeps me out, man.
I
I don't. I want to be able to call up the kid at night and say, "How'd you do?"
Yeah.
Well, look at the Game Changer. What the? Go to hell. I'm not
Yes, sir. Go to hell.
Go to hell, grandson.
Yes, yeah. Hey, you got 2 hits, though. We're proud of you.
Yeah.
Okay. This is Ricey, and you've heard me discuss my relationship with Josh Arnold for some time. The reason I recommend that you give Josh a call is simple: trust and results. Josh has seen it all when it comes to economic and market conditions. As has been said through all of our relationship, past results do not guarantee future returns, and while that is true, Josh can make sure that your retirement objectives match your investments. You can understand that Josh will make sure you are not paying more in fees than you are seeing in returns. Yep, that is more common than you would like to think in the investment business. Do yourself a favor and have a booking with Josh for the 48-minute free evaluation. This is a no-obligation meeting. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. You will be glad you did, and don't forget to ask him why it is 48 minutes.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice.
Patrick Royce is a paid endorser.
Ricey for the Canopy Group. As you set out to explore Minnesota this summer, think about this. There are 234 cities in Minnesota with populations over 2,500. That doesn't include Fulda, by the way. But anyway, the Canopy Group has clients in all but 7 of these. Why is that fact important? Because the Canopy Group's experience in all of these Minnesota cities gives them a unique edge in getting you the best home and auto insurance coverage at the best price. Remember, the Canopy Group offers 16 insurance companies for a reason: to match your specific situation, including 2-year zip codes, with the absolute best insurance company for you. This is done for you annually because your specific situation may change. It is also true that the insurance company's appetite might change as well when you only have one option. This experience working throughout Minnesota provides thousands of Canopy Group clients with peace of mind, knowing that the Canopy Group is working for them. Please visit thecanopygroup.com today.